So you want to cover that the DOM is improved as well when you connect your broker through TradingView, and you're going to run into some limitations with the DOM by using TradingView's default DOM for stocks.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's not it's an interesting selling point. This idea that you want to get as close to your broker as possible, right? People are used to, when you're doing automated trading, to go through TradingView, some other platform, through a bridge, and then execute the orders. And so it's interesting to reduce that slippage by using TradersPost specifically to manage some of the entries and exits. But this idea here that the data that you're getting on a third-party platform, like TradingView or something else, might not be as accurate depending on the data provider being used. That's just another reason to add to that.
Yeah, I think that there's a handful of reasons to try to use the broker as much as possible when using TradersPost, or even TradingView for that matter. This discussion came from a user that was running into an issue where their strategy wasn't behaving properly because the DOM that comes from TradingView has some limitations in terms of the lot size requirement before it will update the price intraday. But if you connect your broker through TradingView, then the lot size isn't as big of a requirement, and you should get a faster and more accurate stream of pricing data intraday on your charts, right? So I'm not sure where TradingView documents this very well, but it does change the way the DOM behaves and the way price action behaves when you connect your broker, because that pricing data now comes through your broker. But we've had many users at TradersPost that have had issues with order execution when they try to set alerts for a market order directly through us. The suggestion we often have is to send your orders through the broker as a limit order, or to use the tools when available for different types of order types with the broker. For example, TradeStation, which is absolutely by far one of our favorite brokers on our platform, provides trailing stops and take profit and stop loss orders that can be bracketed with your entry. So I might have an entry on NASDAQ futures at 17,000, and I want to attach a take profit and a stop loss to that, with calculations on 2-to-1 risk reward and all of that. Well, I send the whole payload then with my entry price, and I tell it where I want my take profit and where I want my stop loss. And when we send that order to TradeStation, they're going to execute the entry and then automatically set a limit order on either side of your entry for your stop loss and for your take profit. Additionally, you can send a trailing stop. You could say, I want my entry at 17,000, but I want to trail by 1%. And so you can send that rule to TradeStation and ask it to trail the entry by 1%. And now the broker is handling all that logic for how the price should be trailed. And it also means that you have faster access to those price matches. When the broker is handling the execution of the order, there's no longer this delay that occurs because the price is moving from the broker, and then maybe you have it set up in TradingView. TradingView has the price, it's trying to trail, then it sends an alert to exit the position, but you're sending that alert from TradingView to TradersPost. Then we're structuring your trade and then sending that to the broker. Then the broker is finally executing the trade. Well, in all likelihood, you've kind of lost some opportunity there, or potentially have some slippage just from that round trip time. Right. So by sending it through to the broker, obviously execution is going to be faster and your order's more secure that way. So yeah, we always recommend sending your orders through to the broker as much as possible. That said, it is not something that is widely supported by all brokers. Another reason that we like TradeStation so much is that they support those types of order types. They have the stop loss legs, the take profit legs, a trailing stop built in, and of course you can go long and short, and so set up your orders in both directions. Many of the other brokers can offer stop loss legs and take profit legs, but trailing stops doesn't show up as much. I think TD offers a trailing stop as well, but like Alpaca and Interactive Brokers and Tradier don't offer trailing stop legs. So those kinds of supported order features are great when you can find them with the broker.
Yeah, so I mean that's why when I was developing a strategy for my client, I was saying, oh, well, I'm so used to taking care of all that within the Pine script. Let me just go ahead and do that, and without understanding that there was really this benefit of doing it of moving some of that logic off the TradersPost, especially since I knew I was using TradeStation. Right, as soon as I know that was the case, I could have saved myself a lot of grief, a lot of time, a lot of effort because there was there's no concern with that. I could just do it directly there. A question for I'm wondering those settings where you can set up some of the details for the strategies. We can't pass any of that information through. Like I can't have user settings within a script, a Pine script, and have that sent through to TradersPost for them to adjust any of the strategy settings. Right, that's set at the account level on TradersPost.
Some strategy settings can be sent over, but not all of them. We're working on more enhancements at the moment where you can send over overrides to your strategy settings. And to zoom out and provide better context here, we have settings within your strategies on TradersPost where you can define position size, for example, based on your portfolio. So like percentage of portfolio for my entry. Maybe I want to send over an order signal, and when I buy, I want it to trade 5% of my portfolio. You would define that in your strategy in the rules on TradersPost's interface, and then send over your buy signal and you're good to go. What you're describing is, can I also send those types of rules in my JSON payload in TradingView so that I can define very quickly the dynamics of my strategy? And the answer for today is no, but it is absolutely something we're working on to make sure that we can make the strategies more comprehensive on the TradingView side.
Fair enough. I mean, for a strategy someone's developing for themselves, for them to use personally, I can't imagine that's really a big problem. It's for the people developing things like such as myself for clients to use. What would be interesting is to what I do is add just a button within the script that says, hey, if you're connected to TradersPost, click this button, and then all of the other stuff will be taken care of at the strategy level on the account level on TradersPost. But if you don't want to do that and you want to handle it, let TradingView handle it, where you can do that. You just uncheck the box, and that seems to be working for the moment. What I like is just something to remind people of in case they're not aware, especially for the developers out there. It used to be that TradingView for the alert system, you had sort of like one set of alerts for indicators and then another set of alerts for strategies, right? And if anyone's ever programmed anything for any strategies on TradingView, you are aware that there is this delay sometimes between when alert might have fired inside of an indicator and when it fires on a strategy. There's all these different quirks you have to take account of. Well, you can imagine that if you know you're using TradersPost, let's say you're using TradeStation or any of these other brokers that are supported, that you can actually build your strategy out just as an indicator with your alerts that are firing more rapid, more real time with some of the features you're used to when you're building indicators, and then have those messages sent through, send the correct payloads to TradersPost, and then have half your strategy handled by TradersPost directly. That's something I think I'm going to be thinking of, like developing scripts direct specifically for TradersPost, because there's so much more I could rely on there, having access to my broker data that I can directly on TradingView.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the major advantages with using TradersPost is that we do have much more of your account level data on the platform than TradingView does. TradingView is capable of giving you some of your balance information and some of the account level data, maybe an order history, but all of that is manual. You can view the interface and you can research the history and maybe execute some manual trades. But if you want to make any strategy decisions off of your account, like your balance or the position that you're in right now, that's not quite possible. You have to do the math within the strategy and assume that the order size that you've calculated in your strategy or indicator matches what's at the broker. And that's obviously a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, and that's We've all seen that sort of thing where you're watching in real time and you're like, wait, this is divergence between what TradingView is showing versus versus what my broker is showing. So yeah.
No, like today's bull run, TradingView says I have 10 contracts, but it turns out I only have one. Darn it.
Excellent. So on those account levels, like if you had to think of, we talked about position sizing, we talked about the idea of, especially for TradeStation, being able to have the trailing stops. Are there any other features that come to mind that would be useful to plan at the TradersPost level as opposed to the third party or TradingView?
I mean, I think it's cleaner to develop a strategy that keeps your order types as simple as possible. However, it really kind of depends. If you want TradersPost to manage the sophistication of your strategy because you want it to automatically reverse your positions, or like it'll swap and go from long to short automatically and then from short to long again automatically, we can do that. You can, of course, calculate that in TradingView and send the correct number of contracts to flatten and reverse your position. So it's really kind of a developer's choice. If your strategy is really complicated, it has a lot of rules, you have to scale in and out of your positions, it's probably best to keep those rules in TradingView and just send over standard limit orders ahead with the broker so that when it's executed fast. If you are trading market orders, I think that's closer to what we were talking about earlier, where your round trip time can cost you a little bit in slippage just because of the time it takes to go from TradingView to TradersPost to your broker. That said, if what you have is a strategy that's fairly simple, it just has buy and sell signals, and you want to keep the rules of risk exposure fairly consistent across your strategies on multiple asset classes, for example, I think that could be set in TradersPost relatively easy. If I know, for example, I have rules about the time of the day that I want my strategy to execute on. I only want it to execute between, a half hour after market open and a half hour before the market closes. Outside of that window, I don't want it to trade. Well, I can set those rules in TradersPost. If I want position of my percentage of my portfolio set, or a specific unit of risk, like every trade can only risk $100, those types of risk rules are much easier to define in TradersPost, and then you can keep that code out of TradingView and just send the buy and sell signal at that point. So now I know here's my entry, and TradersPost is going to execute the rules appropriately. It's only going to trade between 9:30 and 3:30, and or 10 and 4, wherever my window was there, and it's only going to trade a certain amount of risk on my behalf.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Makes me really excited for the new features that are going to roll out over time with TradersPost, and it makes investing the time of learning the platform, really learning a bridge platform that TradingView is not trying to be, right? Like, no fault to them; they're doing a great thing developing their software, but they're really relying on the external community to go ahead and create these tools that become very useful for traders. And so choosing a platform like TradersPost and then focusing on it, following the development, you really get to this, you get to take advantage of some of these things, some of these ways that we're thinking in order to make your life easier. It's definitely worth the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna have to, I'm looking forward to, I think that's what I'll be doing for myself, retooling it, thinking TradersPost first, right? TradersPost first mentality, and then have TradingView as just like as a side nook for what I'm doing, because I'm not doing some super complicated strategy, and I think it makes sense to do it from the account level first.
Yeah, for simple strategies, for sure. For more complicated scale in, scale out kind of strategies, I think it's better to calculate those orders in TradingView. It can do a better job of deciding when you should increase or decrease quantity or reverse your position, so on and so forth. But I think that highlights the flexibility of our platform. You can decide how much you want to keep on TradingView, how much you want to have TradersPost do, vice versa. Maybe one strategy is heavy on TradersPost settings, maybe another strategy is, mostly TradingView, and none of the rules are defined on TradersPost. Either way, we're going to execute the trades for you as fast as we can.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was. I really have to explore more this idea that you can have multiple subscriptions to the same strategy, and so to do that programmatically, I have to think about how to set all that up so that it works for me or for my client to switch between what they want to do, and to be able to just say no. I've set up your TradersPost account correctly. Now you have 3 subscriptions to this, and you could run them however you wish without having to worry about the code. That's hours of work off my plate.
Yeah, I think maybe another on-point topic here about making sure you use your broker as much as possible. Another example I think we run into quite a bit is when people use the built-in TradersPost paper broker. It's a pretty good paper broker. It does a good job of simulating price. However, many of the brokers have put in far more engineering time than we have into some pretty sophisticated backtesting engines and paper trading engines. Alpaca and TradeStation have some pretty superior systems, and oftentimes, of course, if you test both a paper account and a live account, you get some consistency there in terms of seeing how it's actually going to execute with the broker. If you use the TradersPost paper broker, it can be a little bit of a misleading execution because we can quote unquote execute that paper price faster than maybe the broker can because there's a savings of 200 milliseconds, let's say, from having to leave TradersPost and go to your broker in order to execute the paper trade. So I know this is a little nuanced, but it's nice when you actually use the broker and their paper trading capabilities to get a better sense of how your system's going to work, and whether or not it will actually be successful. But then over the long run, what I also see people do is they'll always keep the paper trading account live with one subscription, and then the live account is a separate subscription. So if they decide that they want to pause the live account for whatever reason, like they're analyzing the results or they're not happy with how things are going, they keep the paper system going because in general, the lifetime of strategies, many times people don't give it enough time for a strategy to really unfold. They'll start a strategy and they'll be a weekend and it took 5 bad trades and they assume it's not a working strategy, so they turn it off on the live account. And then as they're watching their paper account, all of a sudden it's on a winning streak now. And now they've got this history of data to work with to figure out, oh, did I just turn it off too soon, or was it actually not working?
Right.
That constant stream of data is always helpful.
What's the maximum number of paper trading accounts that can be active in someone's account on TradersPost?
It depends on your account, of course. Like the pro accounts will give you 8 paper brokers, and then premium and above, like with direct conversation with us on Enterprise, we can give you more paper brokers than that.
Oh, even at 8, that's substantial. I don't think I've even
it's quite a bit
8 yet. Yeah. And each one of those can use my broker's data just to get that live data that so I can test.
Not all of them, because not all brokers have a full supported paper account. Like, for example, TD, Ameritrade, and Coinbase and Robinhood don't have paper systems. But if you've connected with TradeStation and Alpaca or Interactive Brokers or Tradier, and many of the other brokers that we're onboarding, then you'll have a paper account available to you through that broker.
Excellent. Well, it's an exciting time. It's the age of the retail trader.
Well, I think this was a good topic to cover for sure, Tom. The nuance of like how pricing shows up in TradingView and the round trip times for orders, all good things to cover. In general, we're always interested in questions people have, so please send them your way. And as a heads up, we're going to start doing town hall every Friday now. So or office hours, excuse me. We're going to start doing office hours every Friday now. So if you have questions or want to interact with us directly, we'll send out an email, give you a schedule of when that's coming, and have your questions prepared.
That's right. Should be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, Mike, thank you so much for your time, and let's dive back into TradersPost.
All right, you bet. Thanks, Tom.